Funny Over 50, which is a place where, irreverence is holy, and all women can be queens, kings in charge of things, right? And actually, for tonight, I'm hoping you'll work with me on this because I'm a aging comedy host Barbie. Yeah, aging comedy host Barbie. Wow, that was a great treat this summer, and I think really a game changer in the longer term. Did everyone here have a good summer? Yes. Turns out I had a great summer too, and here's my metric. My metric is I never had to put on a bathing suit and wear it in front of 100 strangers. That's my idea of a good summer. It's kind of interesting. The rest of the year, we're kind of like, does my back look fat in this sweatshirt? And, hey, when did my butt become trapezoidal, And then July rolls around, and the first thing we're thinking about is like getting naked in front of complete strangers. And we're like, you know what, not gonna go naked. Let me just shimmy my way into a miracle suit. Yeah, right. You may remember the original women's bathing costumes where they were really inspired by what a Maine milkman would wear in the wintertime. Long woolen coat, pantaloons, shoes, boots, and right? And the thing is, they kind of knew what they were doing, and they were sort of like, I'd rather drown than show you the contours. Drown and then show you the contours of my nether parts. Now, I'm a little bit older than many of you, and it's only recently that I've come to understand what I'm describing is camel toe. And that's a kind of a new, I'm just putting it out there, I'm going to try to use it in a sentence here. It's basically, the cleavage that your private parts give off. It's kind of a mystery to me because the only people who know a lot about camels, I think, are in the Middle East, where, for the most part, women are deeply covered. So I leave that mystery with you. So it's just one of those things. So how did miracle suits get started, you may be asking? And I think I have the origin story for you. I bring you to the headquarters of Bathing Suits Are Us. And there's a couple of men around a table, and they have a representative woman, let's call her Sally. And they're faced with a serious problem. And the problem is, how do we get women's imperfect bodies into bathing suits? How are we going to do that, Sally? But before she can answer, one of the guys says, well, look, when my mother used to go to a wedding or a funeral, she always wore a girdle. So that's in play. And then another guy jumps in before Sally can get her 2 cents in and says, hey, you know what? My wife just got one of those compression kits where you can take like a full winter comforter, and she had me like pump this thing down. The end of it was the size of a handkerchief. And so before Sally can get a word in edgewise, they have come up with the idea of turning the girdle into outerwear and literally sucking the oxygen out of anyone that's wearing it. So that's why it's called a miracle suit, because if you can get into it, and don't ever try it when you're even like partially damp, don't even consider that. Like you've gone to the bathroom and you're trying to swing that thing back on, not gonna happen. So that and just remaining conscious while you're wearing it, that is really what the miracle is. Now, further, this is where I bring in some just spontaneous medical advice. Because, you know, there's that time in the late afternoon at a beach where you're having a popsicle and the last nub of it like drops on your toes and it kind of all gunky with the sand and everything. Yep. And your initial inclination is, let me bend over to clean that. Let me just say something. Do not do that because you're literally inviting an aortic hernia. It's just not, there's not going to be a good result there at all. I guess a question I'm left with is, what about miracle suits for men? Thank you. I think I'm getting a very good reaction to that. I mean, have you ever seen a man on the beach who could use a miracle? I think we know the answer to that. And I'm going to be starting my own innovation team on that. If you're interested in that, send us a note to Funny Over 50, and we will put you on that team to help us design things. Now listen, the movie was fantastic, and I'm about to kind of ruin the end of it, but not entirely, everyone. So those of you that haven't seen it, this isn't going to spoil it entirely. But what happens at the end of the movie is we see Barbie approaching a gynecologist's office in search of authentic genitals. First of all, Barbie, good luck with that. You know, it may take you like 20 years to figure out how some of the gizmos work, and then you gotta, you know, train the suitors on that as well. But in any event, there's Barbie, and what she doesn't know is she's not gonna be able to get in if she hasn't been to the portal. The portal, I think you may know, the online portal is something that you complete 3 weeks in advance. Where you have to do that 3 weeks in advance, you answer a lot of questions, many of which you don't know the answer to. Here's one of my favorites. What was the date of your last period? I have a very good answer to that, and I would like to offer it to you here because I think you can use it. I simply write in, at a Tom Jones concert. I just think it's funny, it's kind of weird and wacky, and it's a little bit of a test to see, are they actually reading this stuff? And the answer to that, by the way, is no, because then when you get to the office, don't be concerned, Barbie, when the office person hands you a clipboard with 17 pages on it with all the same questions that you just filled out on the portal, right? It's just part of that modern process of getting your information out there. I don't know, are they trying to catch you in a lie? Are they auditioning you? I don't really know what they're doing. But you're going to have to do it, and I recommend that you drop in that Tom Jones line in there as well. I think it will take you far. I have found medical offices to have an uncommonly keen sense of humor. And I think you're going to find that they're going to really enjoy that. So. And then your third touch point is, of course, the doctor comes in. And yeah, greets you like the space alien you are, and begins with all the same questions that you've just filled out on the portal, on the clipboard, and now you are here with the doctor. This is a really great time to use the Tom Jones line, because you can tell very quickly what your compatibility level is going to be with this person, which I think is just a good thing. Now, one thing we know for sure, Barbie, one thing we know for sure is when you leave that doctor's office, for sure, you're going to have your very own camel toe, and we celebrate that. Do we not? Let's hear it for Barbie.